Let's have the conversation about what happens here in the West. What happens because of feminism and sexual liberation and the current gynocentric society that we have. Usually the men that are the best performers usually get the worst deal in the end. I'm talking about the squared away young men or squared away men that are responsible, that are logical, reasonable, that are very much got their acts together. Their credit, their finances, they stay out of trouble with the law. They have professions, they have trades, and they most of the times they do the right thing. But the problem is because we live in an environment where we have two separate situations going on, two separate societies almost, where we tell one gender to be completely selfish, self-interested, focused on yourself, become a certain type of woman. And whatever money you make, you become independent of men. And then you program another gender that you ought to be traditional, protect women, you're a provider, basically holding that group of men to a social contract that no longer is practiced by the other gender. So inevitably, we're holding men to these traditional standards and traditional values and traditional expectations, while women today can be modern. And part of that modern behavior comes sexual liberation, which means that enjoying your youth, enjoying many different sexual experiences while you're young, being a boss chick, getting out here, dating with a lot of exciting men out here. How do I know? Peaceful Life, probably one of those exciting men. Who knows? We'll take the fifth on that, but let's keep it moving. You want to be able to understand that many times the man who gets to marry these women, usually past 30, is usually the guy who's going to get the worst deal. The worst deal after she's been traumatized and viciously pounded out and just trauma everywhere, or she's had babies by other men, or even to a certain extent, for some of these young men, you got to understand, you got to stick with your dating and relationship DNA. Everybody has a certain type of class or culture or whatever they call it in this world, where people are raised a certain way with a certain mindset and mentality. And you also got to, when you're dealing with these women, this is a male advisory channel, so let's focus on the men. The vetting process for her history matters, what she's been doing, and also the type of men she's been around, because women don't change their taste in men, they change their taste in lifestyle. And again, needs drive behavior, and nobody likes to suffer. So you have to find out, and you do the investigation, not think with your sacks or your balls or your hormones, rationalizing and excusing and passing over red flags because you horny and you thirsty and you just want to have something next to you in proximity to you, so you think you can roll over in the middle of the night and get yourself some access to sex. That's not going to happen in an environment that is chaotic. If you're with somebody that was raised in chaos and they see what young men don't understand is this. You have to not only vet her, you got to vet her family, particularly her father, particularly the men. When you go to their house, what you want to observe is how the women act and behave and how they treat the men in their lives. What did this woman grow up watching? Did she grow up watching men being treated with respect? Was he served his plate on Thanksgiving? Was her dad respected when he come? Oh, did her mom alienate him and turn the whole house against him, and they all ganged up on him and disrespected him, and he was around the environment? Or she has a matriarchal mentality where she thinks that men are there only to serve her and she should not serve men. Raised to be a ball-busting feminist. Mom does all the cooking. She didn't go in the kitchen to learn, or her mom didn't insist she get over there learning any domestic skills. And they they get into a certain mindset and mentality of men as these creatures that need to be abused and stomped on and not treated with respect and honor, and actually does she take pride in actually serving the men who take care of her. Those things you have to see, and you can only examine that by looking at how her dad, her relationship with her dad, how her mom treats her dad. Make sure her dad is not a jellyback simp, and the men around her growing up, we're not a bunch of jellyback simps, because she's going to expect you to be a jellyback simp. And you don't want that type of relationship. If anything, that's slavery. You're just going to be an abused wallet utility that pays bills, maybe gets married or missionary, and the relationship will become about her. So you want to be able to vet women deeply and get deeply into the mental, the psychological games that's being played today, because what happens is we have a lot of these burnt out feminists now. They're financially strained, they're financially stressed, but they still want to demand that relationships be on their terms. So for you, they're just looking for a good sucker wallet. They're really deep down inside despise manhood and masculinity, but at the end of the day, bills, expensive, costs. And that's why they always talk about trying to hold men to these traditional standards and values. Like, you pay 100% of the bills. They won't be a feminist all her whole life. She ain't nothing traditional about her. You're a guy number 25 or 10, even 5, even 20. And in this inflated economy, there's things that you got to understand. Sometimes you need both incomes to survive. Both incomes would build wealth faster, especially if you're dollar cost averaging, investing in good ETFs and good stock mutual funds and whatever else you invest in with real estate and so on and so forth. But it would build a life. But see, these women have been trained. They're waiting at the end of the finishing line. They're looking for the tech guys. They're looking for the guys that they call lames and nerds back in the day, because those guys have developed a certain level of success. They're making a certain amount of money. Or even the blue collar, hardworking guys that got tradesmen make a lot of money nowadays. So that's what it's really. They want to go to the finish line. You see, if they were smart when they were young, before they got what's between their leg blown out, they would have chosen a man and built a life with him. They would have a man help them vet the character of that man, and they would have bonded to him, poured into him, and build equity with that man. But they don't do that. Feminists don't do that. And these women right here, they were taught by their moms and their grandmoms, whatever, to be more parasitic. And at the end of the finish line, you think about it, the goal is to benefit from you while you've done all the hard work. They have not poured anything into you, and just to extract value from your life. And that's a big no-no in my book, because I got boys, my boys are both, good, intelligent young men, educated, and whatever else. Not that, education stuff depends on what you measure, and that's a whole different video for that. But the point I'm trying to make is, and I talk to them all the time, stick with your dating and relationship DNA. What did you grow up in? You grew up in a patriarchy. Your father is more of a patriarchal dominant man. I'm not a product of matriarchal culture. So you got to understand that the woman that you're dealing with, she can't be some woke, liberal-minded woman, because one, I'm going to slam the door in her face. And I'm going to tell you and her to kick rocks, because I am not going to have no, utopians around me. She's got to understand that she gets into your program. She buys into your program and buys into your system 100%. She's got to be willing to add value to your life. We don't take on loads and parasites in this family, in this environment. If I had a daughter, first of all, I would say, look, I have to vet the guy you want to be with. You would really want to, first of all, he's going to have to understand that he's coming into a patriarchal environment where she has skills, she's been taught and learned how to respect a man. When I vet you, when I pass my daughter to you, you're responsible for her now. But she's not going to be a load. You understand? She's going to learn how to respect and honor men and honor herself and respect herself. So these are the types of situations where you have to have these conversations with these young men, where they're not taking on women that only seek to extract resources and value from them, that offer them no value, that are particularly low, that have these liberal, sexual liberated mindset, blowing out box, running the streets, out here chasing these crazy, woke, liberal, indoctrinated ideologies, and they're not going to be good within the household, especially when they have had too many traumatic experiences with different sexual partners, getting, doors slammed in their face, getting passed around like a bag of Skittles, tasting the rainbow. So we got to understand that, young men. First of all, where are you dating and where are you fishing? Especially if you get one of these, I don't really want to say that, but crash out Keishas or some of these other women, the white woman could be crash out too, or any other race of women. It's not a race channel. I don't care, because again, a feminist is a feminist, regardless of what race she is. Most of them, especially if she's raised in chaos, because she could be raised in chaos in any community, white, black, Asian, Arab, whatever, just her family, the people around her, her own mentality and her own development. We make an objective decisions about how we see people. The content of their character as individuals is a sign of who they are and the people around them and what environment makes people. Because you got to ask yourself the question, if you got into a fight or an argument with this woman, how is conflicts handled in her family? Who is she going to talk to? Is she going to talk to her squared away mother and aunt who are traditional in their mindset, who respect themselves and respect men around them? Or is she going to talk to, crash out Sue or crash out Keisha from down the street? And then they're going to tell her about how to destroy your life. Is she chipping away at the blocks of your foundation? Is she destroying your peace? You're destroying your peace will destroy your ambition, will destroy your prosperity, will take the soul. Let me tell you something. It's better to be alone than to live in an environment with chaos or any type of woman that causes problems for your life. Peace is beautiful, and that's what a lot of men don't understand. Sometimes, even with me as a bachelor, being single is only incidental. I'm not anti-relationship. Like I told everybody, I'm pro-relationship, anti-torture. But the mindset and the mentality of the culture today, especially for a lot of, and that's why I go back again, I push back against a lot of these dudes, red pill dudes, simps, jellybacks, manosphere guys, because sometimes you see some of these guys are closet jellybacks because their whole program is about performing for women. And if you're performing for women or you're pedestalizing women, or you think that men should be 3 times better than the average woman, that means that you are a male feminist pretending to be a red pill content creator or whatever else. Especially these guys have been married for 20, 30 years making red pill content. Or these guys, if you do a background investigation on some of these guys, that's why they don't bother me. Because they know my law enforcement history, and I will pull your file and I will find you on some jellyback activity like Piers Morgan, and then I'll make a video about it. Oh, look at this dude over here. He's talking about guys tricking, but look at him, he's coming out of the brothel. This guy out here, he's with a couple of baby mamas. He's talking about men shouldn't date single moms. Look at him, he got baby mamas. These guys are so easy to track. Most of them are full of shit. It's like the panda bears, like the Yada and the scammers like Yada and all these other guys pretending to be rich on the internet. I drive a 2012 vehicle. It's used. It's got 196,000 miles on it. What am I flexing for? Am I performing for women? That's the first sign you see of a man that's not real in these red pill manifest phases, because he's out here performing for women, which makes him a feminist because he's pedestalizing women. You see, you gotta do examination of these guys, follow them, track them. What are they trying so hard for? What do they want? They're virtue signaling. They won't look at me. I'm special. I get lots of punani or pre-owned. Pre-owned is only $50 on the damn street. I know guys, some of you guys gonna say 50, peaceful life, that's too much. But they're performing for women. That's the ultimate male feminist in red pill space. That's why these pickup guys and game guys and all that. I don't use none of that bullshit. Self-esteem, self-confidence. You gotta have self-respect. You gotta understand female nature. And you gotta be very disciplined and indifferent. That's it. And you gotta and you get on the pre-owned network. Because again, those that are not thirsty don't beg for water. Anyhow, moving right along. So you can be able to tell me, I don't play games with women. Game? Get your goofy ass out of here. The only thing, look, I'll tell a woman in a second, I don't need no sex. I just need me some money. Sex is only a memory. And I treat women like alcohol. I drink responsibly. I don't get married because marriage is driving drunk. Why are you worshiping pre-owned? What is it about? They only have pre-owned. That's it. That's it. That's all they have. That's their only power. Box, pre-owned. That's it. You let a creature that has one weapon that sits in the mirror for an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, putting on a fake face because they don't like who they are. That person controls your life. The red pill content creators, any one of these guys, they are insane. Oh, you know what? I got me a $500,000 car so I can attract more pre-owned. Pre-owned is only $50. Now, if you want to have a nice car and you love speed, knock yourself out. Do whatever you want to do. But I don't get the mentality. This is why I say peace is beautiful, man. And there's so many of these guys around here. It's like roaches crawling on the internet. If you do a background investigation on some of these guys, you'll be surprised. YouTube should require. That's why I'm not a part of any of these spaces. You know why I don't associate with any of these spaces? Because I know they're fake. And they won't challenge me because they know with my prior law enforcement history, I'm going to look in your background. And I'm like, whoa, okay. You say you were worth $2 million. Look there, you're in negative 100,000. You owe everybody money. You've been living on credit card. Ah, I see. And they don't want to deal with that bullshit with me. So they leave me alone. They say, leave that crazy bald-headed doodle on his channel. And they just keep it moving. Because you got to be careful of the information that's put out here in the internet and this grifting environment where everybody's trying to earn a dollar without offering any value. It's like the guys that talk about this pickup game. Let me tell you something. It has gotten so delusional today that if you were to walk up to a woman, first of all, they only want the men that they're attracted to walk up to them. Literally, that woman make a video about you or get you jammed up because you made her feel bad about herself. Because to her, she saw herself as here. And you are, in her mind, you're here. And you walking up to her lowered her value. You know, you disrespected. She feels disrespected by you walking up to her. The pickup guys don't tell you about that. Why? Because they make money selling that game shit. Really, what they're doing is taking advantage of men with low self-esteem. Because what men will just treat himself like a piñata getting beat up all day long unless he hates himself, walking up to random women. And what's wrong with your life? You broke? You desperate? Why don't you have opportunities in your life is the first thing. Then more time and more energy need to be spent on you as an individual. But at the end of the day, that woman feels like you've disrespected her because you've lowered her value in her eyes. Why does he think that I would talk to him, even though she's probably is unworthy of you, being even unworthy of you? But this is a society of a gynocentric environment, and social media creates the world of a delusion. So in her mind, even though she's 10 levels lower than you, she thinks she's 10 levels higher than you. You see? But they don't talk about that stuff because it wouldn't make them any money. That's why. They want to give you hope and make you believe that these women are just, that type of woman is just out. Now, these women will go to a conference where there's guys that are of skills and talent and whatever else, because they're seeking out money. They're looking for a hero, a superhero. Now, if they can verify that, okay, this guy makes this much money or that guy makes this much money, and they'll go anywhere else. What they're looking for is money. They already have men in their lives that they're attracted to. They're having sex with them all the time. But they don't have a long-term sponsor, a retirement plan. So they're going to look for guys that are squared away, guys that they think have no swagger, but they're reliable and consistent providers, and they can create this environment for themselves, and they'll get past their sisterhood. That, okay, girl, he has this much money, he has that much money, he has this much finances, he has that much finances. Yeah, you got yourself a winner. But inevitably, the relationship for them, it's going to be all about them. They want you worshiping them. They want you serving them. They have no desire to do anything in a traditional sense in terms of domestic traditional skills or any of those things that women of the past used to do, because they just don't have those skills. When they saw cooking and cleaning and domestic skills, or even the femininity of nurturing and caring and loving and being soft and cooperative and submissive, and that even training and providing sexuality, giving you sex, they're going to change that up when that guy, because they're not attracted to him. You see what I'm saying? He's boring. He's squared away. He doesn't arouse them emotionally. They don't want to open their legs. They just open the legs enough to secure a commitment or get a child by the guy or get in a house with him. They're going to treat him like crap. And probably even having a side dude or having an affair with a guy because they're attracted to chaos. And in this environment where they're raised in chaos, I mean, they've had so many sexual experiences before that guy, they cannot be calm. And then you have TikTok going, Instagram going, Facebook, all these voices coming from the outside into her ear, and women talking, and everything that tells her everything about her. Listen to the conversations they're having. Me, I, me. What men need to be doing for me. What I need, what I want, what I desire. What men need to do to qualify for me. Me, I, me, I. Which means they have nothing to offer you other than pre-owned. That's all they're bringing. They expect you to build the life, and they just show up and give you pre-owned, maybe have a baby or two. They have no plans to cook, clean, do laundry, do anything to take care of their houses. So you're going to be working, paying for her life, and doing all the domestic chores. And that's what they're going to do for the young men or the men that they're not attracted to, because they just need the money. They don't need anything else. I mean, they were raised to be feminists their whole entire life. Again, I don't have anything against these women. Peaceful Life could recognize these I mean, I'm an old man, but I can recognize it from my boys. And the goal is to educate the young men to stick with women, one, who are willing to date you when we're broke and poor and you're that engineering student or that finance student that are willing to pour into you. Stick with women that have the character, the culture, the upbringing, and the network or surrounding of family, that support relationships, that's if you're going to get married in the West, that support marriage, the infrastructure that exists. So that when there is hard times and difficult times, which you're going to face, you're going to be supported in an environment. But these scavengers that are out here now, thirsting for an opportunity, looking to come up on the backs of the men that they hate, especially you young men that have worked hard, that have gotten your degrees, that have gotten professional licenses and skills, that have done some serious time in terms of developing yourself, especially you guys with your tradesmen. I know as an apprentice process, even after you got your licenses, it takes time to learn and become a master of that skill. And that person has not done anything. They weren't with you when you were studying late at night. They weren't with you when you were putting in the work. They weren't with you when you were grinding. And for you older guys that have built a life for yourself, what we have now is the rebranding of a lot of these older women that are looking for retirement plans. They want to use their mentality of your money is our money, their money is their money, even though they've been feminists all through their lives. They've worked, they've had marriages, they've divorced, they've had kids. Many of them have no money, or they have money, they want to keep their money and spend your money. So they want to trick some of these guys. Like they wanted the Boyce Watkins experience. The woman wouldn't date him in her 20s, but now that she's older with 3 kids, he is her hero. And guess what? And he's so simple, he doesn't even understand he's gotten a bad deal. But they want you to take bad deals and pay all the bills for these women who's supposed to have money. And what are they exactly adding to your life of value that you should be paying all this money for? They should have money. Why are you old and you're broke? Is the problem. What is the point of that? Adding a old broke woman to your life when you could just live life free and on your own terms without the irritation and visit her ass from across town, across the whatever state or whatever the hell when you want to see her. What's she gonna say? Well, you got a man. The men that they're attracted to don't have to do none of that shit. And besides, there are thousands of them, dime a dozen. And you know, if you have self-esteem and you squared away and you squared away in your masculinity, you have the globe to play with anyhow. As long as you have high self-esteem and you're not a jellyback simp that's easy to exploit and take advantage of, and you understand how to navigate the globe in peace, or you can do domestically, whatever the hell you want. The world is your oyster, but you don't have to live life on anybody's terms, and you don't let these religious dudes and everybody else come and brainwash you. Because what these religious dudes like to do is come in here and tell, oh, you do this and you do that. When that shit crashed out, you know where you will find them? None of them. They're gonna roll you up beneath the bus. They're gonna be on the back of a missing person carton. They ain't gonna give a rat's. Rich religious dudes are the worst. I asked the one dude one time, so if you told this dude to go marry these women, these modern women feminists, and they get a divorce, are you gonna help them with their alimony payments? In this unfair, imbalanced legal system? Are you going to help them out? Are you going to help them when they're going through crisis and mental health crisis? Are you going to help them fight for custody of their kids? Hell no, they ain't going to help you. They don't give a rat's ass about you. The society in general, when things fail or things go bad, they're going to blame you. They're going to blame you. So if you're going to be blamed for everything and your feet's going to be held to the fire for everything, you better live life on your own terms, because ain't nobody going to care about your failings. If you have a problem with a woman or a relationship goes bad, they're going to say you picked bad, you should have done better, you weren't alpha enough, you were a bitch ass simp. They're going to call you all kinds of names. But one thing for certain is they ain't going to be there to offer you any type of emotional support. You're not going to get that. So why not live life on your own terms? Live life the way you want to live life. And don't let no other man tell you how to live your damn life. For what? What is he going to do? He's not going to pay for anything. He's not going to help you with anything. You know? Especially these religious guys. They start telling me how to live my life. I ask them for a loan. Yo, loan me $10,000. If you're talking to me about religion, test your religion, because tell me why. You should have faith that I'll give it back to you. Because if I get in the situation that you told me, you're not going to be there to back me up. So I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Because they all got that shit, but ain't nobody got your back. And that's the reality of life. Again, for the young bucks out here, be careful with this environment that we currently live in because of the economy, because of inflation. Your ass is on the menu. And it's for a lot of people, a lot of women especially, that have mismanaged their youth and offer you no value, nothing but just pre-owned box. Basically, loads, looking to freeload off of your hard work. Again, I tell the young ladies, when you're 21, pick a man, get an education, get a career at the same time, before you let everybody else blow your box out. Before they use you like, a bag of Skittles and toss you around, find a good man, build with him, build equity with him. He's probably in college, he's an accounting major, or an engineering major, or whatever. He's probably in trade school working, but he's a good dude. Let the men vet him. Men can vet very good for character. But that's the time you meet the guy, on his way up. Don't wait like these feminists. Go out here and party for 10 years or 20 years, 15 years, mismanage their youth, mismanage their box, and then come at the end of the rainbow looking to find you a superhero. Hopefully these young men have been watching channels like mine and they getting up on game. Get him when it's broke. You can build equity with men. Men don't forget good deeds and good people. Women do. Women controlled by their feelings. What you did today, tomorrow, you could have worked your ass off 70 hours a week to create a good life for her. She'll drop your ass in a second to date the first guy, the guy who arouses her. Her feelings, she's going to take that guy and take that opportunity to get with that guy. Morning coffee with a peaceful life. We got to get more to these conversations. Peace and blessings to you guys. Make sure you hit the like button. We'll have more of this conversation for the young men, especially, because now it's the ultimate simp fishing environment and your ass is on the menu. Peace and blessings to you guys. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm out.